Good day and welcome to another edition of NVP Hot Seat. My name is Zaf Quaylo, and joining me today is Mr. Patrick Murray, who is the Senior Program Manager from IEEE Conformity Assessment Program. Patrick, welcome. How are you doing?
Thank you for having me today, Zaf. I'm doing well. A lot of good things to talk about, especially in the nuclear industry, but we'll get more into that as we work down the interview.
Fantastic, fantastic. So, Patrick, let us start off first with the basic. Most of our audience would probably be familiar with IEEE itself, but IEEE SA, Standard Association, perhaps you can give a little bit insight on IEEE SA and also the goals of the IEEE Nuclear Standard Certification program, Patrick.
Absolutely. So IEEE SA, which is our standards association, falls under the big umbrella of IEEE. The standards organization and association itself currently has about 1,500 standards and projects that they manage with 380 corporate members, 7,500 individual members, over 34,000 global participants, and 180 global agreements. And these standards vary all the way from, what we're talking about today in the nuclear sector to Wi-Fi to GPS, pretty much anything electronics or electrical engineering, IEEE either helps oversee or touches in one way or another. At the end of the day, our whole goal is raising the world's standards. So we want to develop market relevant open standards and solutions. By doing this, we can advance global technologies, we can promote innovation, we can protect public safety, health, and well being, and we can contribute to a sustainable future. So that's really from a 10,000-foot level what IEEE SA is. Now, as Zaf said, I am the senior program manager for our ICAP, which is IEEE Conformity Assessment Program. And we have multiple different programs, again, from distributed energy resources to nuclear standards. So today I wanted to quickly touch on our nuclear EQ certification program and really some of the standards that it's based around. So right now we do have a couple of co-branded IEEE and IEC standards, such as 678323. And these standards, they go to help harmonize internationally the set of electrical and electronics, standards that are going into nuclear power plants. This one in particular was adopted in the latest NRC Reg Guide 189 Revision 2. So as you see, the U.S. NRC finds it important enough to mandate companies meet these sets of rules and requirements. The thing with the NRC is they won't tell you how to get there, but it's important enough to say this is what you need to follow. And it's not just the U.S. that references these. So the same standard, IEC IEEE 678323, it's ratified as an EU norm. Right now, we do have some MOUs, particularly with KEPIC in Korea, to help adopt, translate, and publish our standards. And, around the world, we're starting to see, because it is a joint IEC IEEE standard, countries that have reached out, inquired, and are in discussions with us to help promote the standard, training, workshops, and conformance programs. So that leads us to the conformance aspects here, and really what the goals of the IEEE EQ Nuclear EQ certification program is. And really, it's a way to do three things. The first thing is to certify manufacturers. The second is to certify laboratories. And the third, utilizing the first two, help us certify products. Uh, and I'll give a brief overview on how we get there. So really, the certification program is based around class 1E and K1 devices, which most countries, especially the US and the EU, they want them or they require them to conform to the IEC and IEEE standards. And this is one way to help get that or help us get to that goal. So all of these devices really should be certified, and they should utilize a standardized test plan and report templates for ease through the supply chain. And now, any good conformance program would tell you that they need to be assessed by third party independent organizations, and our program does this. Um, at the end of the day, we want to be able to issue manufacturers, laboratories, and products an IEEE certification mark so that way, it says that you meet the requirements of the standards set out that are needed to build a safe, successful, and budgeted nuclear power plant. So just as a quick rundown, like most conformance programs, verifying the manufacturer is where, and we'll start there. Um, it's a spot check of we would have independent auditors, people from X NRC, X laboratory, X manufacturers. They'll come in and verify your corporate manual against the IEEE and associated standards, things such as Appendix B, NQA1, you know, multiple different standards. I mean, for labs, it would be ISO 17025, plus the IEEE relevant standards to ensure that everything in that manual is up to speed. And then the witnessing of the implementation of said manual. This will allow us to certify a manufacturer. And the laboratory is pretty much the same path. It's verification of the manual, verification of the implementation. But with the laboratories, we do have three different levels: 3-star, 2-star, and 1-star, and each one allows for a different level of testing. So 3-star laboratories, which are all that are currently certified right now, means that they can perform independently. But there are some labs out there that they might not have the volume of work, they might be new to the space. So we utilize the 2 and 1-star laboratories, not as a knock to them, but more as a way for smaller mom and pop labs to gain entry into the space. The one big thing that I'm going to keep alluding to in this program is we're trying to make it easier for companies to internationally be able to market their services, sell their goods, uh, really to put everybody on a global, even playing field so that it comes down to the best bidder, um, because you already know the quality's going to be there. So, with having both the manufacturer and laboratory kind of briefly discussed, we also do offer product certification. And what the product certification really goes into is a manufacturer who's a certified manufacturer builds a part. They get it tested at an IEEE recognized test laboratory. IEEE, we will then take all of the technical reports and we will send them to our third party where they will review, verify, and if everything passes, the customer can utilize the IEEE certification mark on that part. So the manufacturer and the laboratory, upon the moment they're certified, can use the IEEE mark in their marketing, but this says that this product is IEEE certified. And it does allow for it to get listed on the IEEE EQ Navigator website with an individualized serial number to help limit fraudulent parts. So at any point in the supply chain, that's going to be a big benefit as well. So, we're helping to eliminate fraudulent parts. We're trying to make it easier for global trade. We're just trying to really keep the world safe as well. And a lot of this is accomplished through, and I've already mentioned it, that EQ Navigator software. The EQ Navigator software is what we consider the backbone of the product itself. So You have your certification piece, but the EQ Navigator system allows for standardized test reports to various standards to be able to go from the manufacturer to from the test lab to the utilities and the systems integrator in one streamlined system. It can help cut down on time it takes to build what we call an EQ binder. It helps mitigate some of the major risk factors like accurateness of data being entered, binders not being standardized, the identification of substandard and fraudulent parts, and just how long it takes to update and really bring the binder into a place where a utility or a system integrator is content with the work that is done there. So this EQ Navigator system, it really is where a lot of the benefits materialize on top of everything else that IEEE certification already brings to you. So it's helping open up to a global market, and it's giving manufacturers and laboratories a way to work more closely with utilities to give them the information that is needed, warranted in a smart, streamlined manner. And as of right now, we are working on uh, updating the EQ Navigator software, including bringing in what we call the utility module. We have worked with some utility and system integrators to get feedback on what is exactly they're going to needs, their wants, and that's really how we see this program. It's not just a set of rigid requirements, but it's also us being able to work with the manufacturers, the laboratories, utilities, the system integrators to provide products that the industry needs. And that is the biggest benefit of us, being from IEEE is we are a not for profit. We're here to bring the needs of the industry to life. So, based on feedback, we're going to continue improving our product. Right now, the utility module will be finished later this year. And between January and February of 2024, we're going to have a specific webinar just for the utilities. Once this module is in place, the system can then start seamlessly moving all of the documents from beginning to end. And right now, we are working on currently scheduling audit and product demonstrations for this year and beyond. If you are looking for a webinar, I know you're more than welcome to please feel free to reach out. I'm always willing to talk to anybody about what IEEE can assist and do for you so that way, again, we can help promote the industry.
Yeah, Patrick, on that note, right? I guess, a very obvious question, with many, many countries who currently do not have an existing nuclear power program, they are looking to embark on a nuclear power program, and this includes countries from Africa, from Southeast Asia, um, Eastern European countries. Some of them are looking at potentially large reactors. Some of them are potentially looking at adopting SMR, small modular reactors. Now, while they do not have any nuclear power programs at the moment, should they be engaging in discussions with your team? And if yes, why and how and what should they be considering, Patrick?
Oh, Zaf, great question. And absolutely. So, what IEEE brings to the table is years of knowledge and experience working in and around the industry to help promote and bring up to the latest um, regulations and ideals, the standards that go into helping to build an EQ program. So, one thing that we do is seminars and training workshops, as well as, talks about our standards. And with our certification program, it's essentially one-stop shop to saying, well, right now we have a limited either expertise or we have limited footing and we need to really ramp and build something up. Well, here is one simple way to bring in the most modern and revolutionary nuclear EQ standards and a way to fit it in and help develop a country's portfolio. So right now we do work with different utilities and different systems integrators, and being able to successfully say, look at um, we can give you this one-stop shop, I guess, to help put yourself on at least a platform to continue to grow. It's definitely one strong way to help developing countries really get to the place that they want to be.
Okay, fantastic. And I'm assuming when you're talking about emerging countries, and of course there are many different stakeholders involved in the country's nuclear power program, from regulators to utilities to ministries. Um, is there a specific group of stakeholders that would be of greater value to engage with IEEE as they embark on the nuclear power program, Patrick?
So, I mean, I personally think it depends on what each individual country or utility is looking for. I have no problem speaking pretty much to anybody about this, but utilities bring to the table, um, an idea of this is a way that we can source international parts cheap and effectively while getting all the documentation we need. Speaking with the regulators, it's a lot more of a conversation between us, the utility, and the regulators, because it's just not one team that's going to be making the decision. It's having the utilities and the regulators both understand what this genuinely opens doors for them for, and then with the three of us working together, doing seminars, doing, we'll go over and explain standards, opening up doors for committee memberships, trainings, workshops, and certification. It's really the whole suite. So it's not just um, one portion that we would be speaking with. It would be, there are certain times where utilities will approach us and say, this is something we need. And then they'll help us, set up a meeting between us, them, and the regulator, and vice versa. Sometimes we'll have the regulator reach out to us and say, hey, look at, right now we have, a baseline of what we need. We need to bring it up to the next level. And then they'll reach out to their utility and essentially say, this is what we're working on. How can we get involved? So it's a broad conversation, and any regulator and utility, I'd love to sit down and show you guys what EQ Navigator does, what the IEEE certification does, the various standards and training activities we have, and really how can we assist you? What is it that IEEE can do for you to ensure that everything is moving in the proper direction?
Fantastic. Moving in the proper direction, Patrick. I guess the final question I would like to ask to pose to you, like, what can the industry expect or look forward to from your team and your organization in the next couple of months? You mentioned the potential completion of the utility module in by the first quarter of next 2024. What are some of the key things for the industry to look forward to, Patrick?
So right now we do have we're working on setting up MOUs with both utility system integrators and international regulators. So over the next couple of months, you're going to be seeing um, a line of press releases that essentially spell out who the pioneer adopters of this program are. So, my goal in all of this is to create a competitive global market where products are safe. You don't have to worry about fraudulent anything. And, if you need either a new part for a plant or a replacement part, you can go to EQ Navigator, dial up the manufacturer, and have that delivered. And utilizing uh, different vendors in general, it creates that competition. And in the long run, when you think about nuclear power, this is one of the best ways to help mitigate cost overruns as well. Being able to have people compete for your service and getting that real spirit of capitalism going at it. So, I mean, you'll see, again, the early adopters, the early pioneers, and if anybody or any regulator, utility, manufacturer, laboratory, whomever wants to sit down and have an honest, open, very transparent conversation, please feel free to reach out to me. You can look on our website. There's an email address that goes directly to myself and the rest of the team here. So we would just like to be able to work with you, do whatever it takes to make the nuclear industry stronger, to make it better, to make it more lean, while really promoting what nuclear can do for the world.
Fantastic, fantastic, Patrick. I think the work that your team is doing and the EQ Navigator is doing could potentially have a positive impact in the nuclear sector, and especially more so with more and more emerging countries looking to adopt nuclear energy. I think it's of paramount importance that they do it the right way. They have vast options available to them, and they go about their process and due diligence in the right direction. So, great job, Patrick, and your team, and we certainly look forward to more developments and potentially looking forward to find out who are some of the early adopters of these programs. I would say the trailblazers, which could potentially set the path forward for more to come on board this program. Patrick, thank you very much for joining us today, and looking forward to more great work from your team. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Saf. Have a great day.
Fantastic. And to all our audience, if you have any questions or comments for Patrick, feel free to drop myself an email or leave a note in the comment box below, and we'll get back to you. So stay tuned for the next episode of NBP Hot Seat. This is Zaf Coelho signing out. Take care. See you. Bye bye.